the emergency exit's locked. Nobody was allowed out now. You're here. And thank you. So I'll give you a little tiny window about myself. So when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I wasn't interested in people. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't really enjoy people that much. But I was the happiest when I was down in the garden and talking to the fairies in the garden and talking to the worms and talking to the insects and the butterflies and the apples on the tree. And everybody thought I was a bit strange and a bit cuckoo, but that's probably been what I've been all my whole life. And I just used to watch things like Dr. Dolittle and Lassie and Ski and all the animal shows and anything I could get my hands on that was animal related. And then along came a TV program called Bewitched. I don't know if any of you know the TV show Bewitched, but it was about this mother and daughter that had this little magic thing and she used to wiggle her nose, and I went, I want some of that, but I want to be able to bring that into the animal world because I want to talk to animals. I know it's possible. I want to be able to talk with the animals and communicate with the animals. And then I used to watch a lot of cowboy western movies when I was a kid. It was always the goodies and the baddies. It was always the Indians, Indians against the white man, and there was always this kind of battle that was going backwards and forwards between these people. And I could never understand why can't we just all get on? Why can't we all just learn from each other and have this connection and respect each other's, heritage or whatever it is? And so I was really baffled why there was always this separation or this disconnect between cultures. So when I look back now, it was like all these building blocks were starting to come together for who I am today and for what I'm doing, but I didn't know that at the time. So when you look back through your own life now, how many of those building blocks can you now relate to? Even things that might feel like they've taken you kind of left of field, or things that didn't seem to match the mould, how many of those are in steps to get you to where you are right now in your life? And what if none of those steps were wrong? What if none of those, deviations, or what we thought were deviations, are a wrongness? Because there's this other energy that weaves through everything. So meanwhile, back at the ranch with the Red Indians, I used to watch how they would ride these amazingly beautiful, the three-coloured horses, the black, red, and the black and brown and the white horses. I used to love the Apache horses, as I called them when I was a kid, and how they just rode these animals bareback with, a tiny piece of string around the neck, and they just gallop across the plains. And I went, oh, I just want to have that. And they'd hop off the horse at the other end, and the horse would just stay with them. It wouldn't run away from it. It wasn't stuck in a fence where they couldn't get out. There was just this incredible connection and bond, and they understood each other in this invisible language. And they had a connection to the earth, how the Indians, and like the Aboriginals, a lot of the native cultures have this incredible connection to the earth. And so there were all these little signs and signals along the way that were all adding up to kind of like this recipe, if you like. So do you all know that there is something greater possible? We all know that there is this palpable but indescribable, and you can't capture it, essence of being with these animals. And when you receive them on a totally different level, there's a shift in your body, there's a shift in your life, there's a shift in how you connect with everything in the world. And for me, animals are the ambassadors for our awareness. If we learn to receive them differently, they give us so much more. So imagine having a child that you never listened to it, and you never paid it attention, but it was always, tugging on your shirt, or, whinging, or trying to get your attention. If you ignored them for long enough, they'd shut down, they would disconnect, they'd go and function in a very different way. Well, animals are the same. If they don't feel received, if they don't really feel that you're reaching into their world and genuinely connecting with them as a being, as a sentient being, it's like the true gift of who they are gets ignored. It doesn't get received. Does that make sense to everybody? So one of my targets and desires and aim with facilitating talk to the animals and facilitating people with their journey themselves is to create this sense of communion, this sense of oneness, this sense of connection that I saw that the Indians had with their horses. and how you see, the native people tend to have that connection automatically with the earth, because we've been so disconnected from that. We get caught up with the phones and the computers and life and paying bills and raising kids. And for us, in our culture, how I see it is animals are that gateway to reconnect to that space, to have that sense of everything's okay. It doesn't matter what's going on in your personal life. You go and stroke a dog, you watch fish in a fish tank, you hang out with the horses, you just watch the birds on the lake. Your whole world changes. Most people walk along like they do with their life, oblivious to this, okay? So my target with facilitating these classes and distributing the information and being the mouth, the voice for the animal kingdom, is to create that connection where we can embody that oneness, that we don't just step in and out of it all the time, that we embody it, that we build the muscle to be present. And we be present in a way that isn't intense or focused or concentrated, but it's the total opposite. When we're present, there is a sense of space. There is a sense of connection to everything. There is not this sense of separation. We don't have the barriers in place.